Hi, everyone out there in the world of YouTube or wherever it is you're checking out this video. My name is Jacqueline Anderson, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Ms. Cassius Moore. She is a CPA candidate who is on her way to passing that four-part exam and being a certified public accountant, so she will soon have those important three letters of CPA behind her name. And I will kick things off, as I always do in every interview, with the same question, which is, what is your name? What's printed on your birth certificate? And a follow-up, where are you from?
So my name is Cassius Moore, and I am from Snellville, Georgia, in Gwinnett County.
Gotcha. All right. So you pretty much lived in Metro Atlanta your whole life, huh?
Yes, never been anywhere else except for when I was in Columbia for school.
Gotcha. Okay, so what is your current age, if you don't mind sharing?
I am 26 years old. I know it's hard to believe, I know, but you know, I'm
so
26.
young, such a baby face. Gotcha. What age and what year did you decide to pursue the CPA designation?
So I decided, honestly, I would say the age that I am now, 26,
Okay.
because, you know, in college, they pushed the CPA, but my thing was paying for the CPA materials. I didn't have the money for anything, but now that I'm working, I'm, you know, into my career now, my job is actually paying for it and they're reimbursing me and things like that. So that was another incentive to me to go ahead and, you know, get on it and, you know, pass the exam. So.
Gotcha. Okay. You mentioned moving away briefly to attend college. So where was that? What was the name of the college and what city were you in for a brief period of time?
So I attended Benedict College to get my bachelor's of accounting, bachelor's of science in accounting in Columbia, South Carolina.
Gotcha. Okay. So you said your major, it was a Bachelor of Science with a major in accounting?
No, Bachelor of Science in accounting.
Gotcha. All right. And have you gone on to take any graduate level courses, or is that part of your plans after the CPA?
Yes, actually, so I'm enrolled in a Master's of Business Administration program at Strayer University. And so I'm doing my MBA with the concentration in accounting. And I'm actually almost done. I have one more course to take, and that ends in September. So by September, I'll have my MBA. So
you're undertaking both. You're finishing up your master's degree and getting ready to embark on the CPA exam?
Yes, I am. I know I probably sound crazy for doing it, but I got to get it done. I mean, I feel like the longer I take to sit for the exam, it's just going to be even longer process. So, you know, but.
Gotcha. Okay. Are your plans are to go ahead and finish your degree and then roll into studying, or are you going to do a little bit?
So my plan was to kind of course, finish my degree first, but kind of study a little bit on the side. So, you know, maybe if that means doing my MBA work during the week and then studying for the CPA Saturday and Sunday.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you mentioned work. So do you work in industry like corporate America, government, public accounting, are you an entrepreneur, or work in the academic setting?
So I work in a more industry accounting right now. I actually work for a healthcare firm called MUCOR Inc. So basically they create the technology for heart transplants, you know, to match kidneys, things of that sort. So right now I do the corporate accounting for them, and I manage the fixed asset system.
Okay, fixed assets.
Yep.
Righty. And how long have you been in that position, if you don't mind sharing, or with the company?
I've been with the company for about 10 months. So I started in October of last year.
Gotcha. Okay. So what area of accounting do you work in or specialize? Or is it just strictly working on those fixed assets? Have you been able to delve into?
Yeah. So I'm not only do I do a fixed assets, but I do a couple of other accounting tasks like balancing the general ledger, bank reconciliations, a little bit of financial reporting, depending on what my manager needs me to do. Because sometimes I may have to help prepare a financial statement, kind of, you know, those kinds of tasks that I'm, you know, required to do as an accountant.
Before landing this position, were you already doing some other accounting work?
I actually wasn't. So right out of college, I did work as an accounting specialist briefly for like 4 or 5 months. And then I left that job to go to a different job. So I worked in accounts payable for about 2.5 years.
Gosh. Okay.
That's kind of where I got my start. It was accounts payable.
AP. All right.
Yeah.
Which is not unusual. That's
Yeah.
how people get started in the accounting department. All right. So you briefly touched on CPA exam and your employer chipping in. So
Yes.
that may be the answer to this question I'm about to ask, but it relates to what review course did you choose and why? Was it the price, the reputation of that review exam or review course, and the convenience of it?
Honestly, can it be all of them?
Yeah.
So
Explain
everything
a
that you
little
just
bit just
named.
for anybody who may not understand what
Yeah.
one has to offer or why you chose that one, which included all three of those.
Yeah. So I decided to enroll in the Roger CPA review course.
Okay.
Um, I actually enrolled when they had a special going on. So it was like $500 or $600 off the review package. So I got it for a really, really good price. The reputation of Roger is always well, 90% of the people that enroll with Roger pass the exam on the first try.
Okay.
Also with Roger, you have access to the materials until you pass. Because I know a lot of CPA review programs, you have access for like 12 months and, that's it. But with Roger, if you fail all 4 times, you get to have access to all the material online, the books, all of that for however long you need it. So.
Oh, indefinitely. It'll update. If new information comes out, you have access to the
Yes.
most.
So if they have new information that comes out, yeah, they update it periodically. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Is it strictly online, self-paced?
Yes, it's online self-paced. And they actually gave me physical textbooks as well because I'm the type of person that needs textbooks to kind of like rummage through and highlight and stuff like that. So I'm using the textbooks and the online lectures and videos and things like that.
Gotcha. Aside from, I know with the pandemic and COVID-19, a lot of things are remote and virtual, but does Roger offer in-person, in-class, face-to-face instruction?
Right now, no, they don't. But you can they have, I think you can do like Zoom calls where there's multiple people on there, and then
Okay.
the instructor will be teaching. So that you can do in a group format.
Mhm.
But I prefer to study alone because my learning styles are a little bit different. So I'd rather just I don't mind studying in a group every so often, but my goal is just to kind of study by myself and go forward from there.
Gotcha. Okay. That's that's an approach too. Something there's
Yeah.
a way to learn. Everybody learns differently. And so you're
Right.
just now getting started. So at what
Mm.
point did you say, I'm ready to jump into this? I'm going to start here as I'm finishing up my graduate degree. When did you make up your mind? This is where I'm going to definitely
Um,
material
Honestly,
started.
towards the end of my MBA program, because I kept prolonging the CPA because I felt like I didn't have the confidence to pass it. I was like, I'm not gonna pass this exam. All my friends failed the first 2 times. I'm not gonna do this. Why waste the money, the
Right.
time? But honestly, it took me believing more in myself to say, hey, you're as good as anybody else in this world. You can do it as well. You can pass on the first try. Because I kept diminishing myself and putting myself down, like, oh, I'm not gonna pass because I'm not a good test taker at all. I've never been. Um, ever since probably elementary, I've never been a good test taker. It hasn't been my thing. I'm more of a essay writer,
Okay.
fill in the blank, essay questions, stuff like that. So I'm not a test taker. So that was kind of what deterred me from not wanting to pursue it. But,
Well, I'm glad you gained the confidence and you're
yeah,
ready. Ordered the
yeah.
materials. It's just a matter of getting started. So what section or what order, well, let me rephrase that. What section do you plan to take first, and then what order of the exams after that first one?
Okay. So I plan to take FAR first, of course, since that's the hardest. So my order is gonna be FAR, audit, reg, and then BEC. Because BEC has less material to cover. Or is it? I think that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
less questions. And
BEC is the one that has less material. So BEC, I can study for that for like a month and then be good to go. So I want to start with the hardest first and then, the semi-easy one last. Because
okay,
they only give you, I think you have, what is it, 12 months to pass?
18
Or
months.
no, 18 months, 18 months to pass.
But
So say
once you
for
pass that first one, the clock starts ticking. You have 18 months.
right, right. So I'd rather get the hardest one out the way because I don't want to pass everything else and then have to go back and take the FAR exam again, or something like that. So
Gotcha.
that's
So
my
what have
strategy.
you heard about FAR?
I've heard FAR does not have a good reputation at all. I've heard it's hard. A lot of my coworkers and friends have had to take it 2 or 3 times. On the third time they passed, thank God. But I've heard really, really bad things. I heard it's a lot of material, and it's just harder. So
Gotcha. So you're just gonna start out the gate with that one, get that one under your belt.
yes, yes, definitely.
Right. It is a challenge. I would say that, but anyone can do it. If I can do it, you can definitely do it.
Yes.
Gotcha. So up until this point, has anything somewhat derailed you, or have you encountered any obstacles along the way on your job or through your MBA program?
I've encountered a couple of obstacles along the way. So I started this MBA program back in July of 2018. And then a couple months later, my grandmother passed away. And then my older brother passed away from kidney failure and things like that. He passed away in May of last year. So dealing with death and grieving was a lot on me at the time. So I had to kind of pause my education for a little bit and then get back. So that's why it's initially this was only going to be a year and a half program. It took me 2 years because I was going through so many obstacles and struggles and dealing with some family issues, family members that were sick and things like that. Definitely were hurdles for me. But I thank God for, the support of my family to be able to get me to this point. So.
Gotcha. Well, sorry to hear about the loss of your family members.
So much.
I'm glad you're able to get back on track and get ready to start this CPA.
Because I feel like my grandmother and my brother would have wanted me to continue, and because they were my biggest supporters. They were like, girl, you better go get that degree, get that education, get that certification. You got this. So they were my biggest supporters. So if I don't do this for me, I got to do it for them and to be able to continue on and move forward.
Oh man, if they were your biggest supporters or without them, so now you just got to pull on your spirit and somewhat self-motivate yourself and think about them.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha. So you mentioned the review course early on and with your employer. So what about the price of it? Are they reimbursing you or are they just paying it directly? How's that working for you?
So basically they said that once I pass, they'll reimburse me for the CPA review program and any CPA fees that I had to pay, such as the exam fee, the registration fee, all of that. If they're reimbursing me, I think they're gonna just probably do it in like 2 pay periods. That's how they said they were gonna do it. So that's definitely an incentive for me to pass and get all my money back that I spent.
Gotcha. And which it can be a little different depending on the employer, but for you, your employer is willing to reimburse on the end once you pass the exam.
Yes, correct.
But you'll get reimbursed for the study materials and the testing fees.
Yes.
But it's all on the very end.
Right. So
which can be
that's giving me motivation to just pass. But at the same time, then I'm not going to get the reimbursement until I pass. So that's another thing. But
that can incentivize you to stick with it, stay on track instead of because some places or employers may reimburse the study materials or pay it directly up front as they know it may be 18 months before you actually pass. So in that case, that's definitely motivation to try to pass, take the exams back to back so you can be reimbursed for that, recoup that money. So as you're getting started, have you heard any study tips or do you have any that you would like to share? Or has anyone else shared some advice?
So a lot of people were saying to not only read the textbook, but read like the video lectures or whatever. They were saying to definitely watch the video lectures because they break down the material a little bit more than, what's in the textbook. So.
Okay. So don't skip the videos, huh?
Yeah, don't skip the videos. Don't skip them because you will regret it.
which is a little different. Some people say don't even bother with those videos. Interesting. So this,
Yeah.
for anybody watching, it is combination of different things of your approach to passing this exam. But that's
Yeah.
one way. Go ahead.
Oh, and I'm sorry. I was gonna say also the flashcards help as well. So if you make flashcards while you're studying, and then that way, right before you take the exam, you can just do a cram session of those flashcards also. So that will help too.
Gotcha. Well, that brings up another question. In your study material, what comes in your packet? What does Roger offer?
So with Roger, they give you the 4 textbooks: FAR, Audit, BEC, Reg, and then they give you the physical textbooks, and then also there's basically like an online portal you go to, you log in, and you have each exam is broken out. So you click on the exam and you can start with the lectures.
Mm-hmm.
You can take practice exams. You can take a mock exam. You can do, just practice questions. You can time yourself. And then also when you do that practice exam, at the end of the exam, they give you all the answers and you can study those. And they give you why it was the answer as well.
Gotcha.
And why you got it wrong. So, and they also do the simulations too.
They do? Okay, which is important. And I know
Yeah.
some exam or review packets offer flashcards with it and an intensive review on top of just the regular study
Yeah.
materials.
Right.
But thanks for explaining what Roger offers.
Sure.
All right, onto your professional life and your career.
Yes.
So, do you think the CPA designation is still highly regarded in the workplace, or is it losing relevancy?
I think it's definitely highly regarded in the workplace, because I feel like a lot of people are asking people to have a CPA. A lot of these top, these big 4 accounting firms are saying, hey, if you don't get your CPA within a year or 2, we got to let you go. Stuff like that. Because like one of my friends, he actually had to leave because he was working for one of the big 4s.
Okay.
And they were saying, if you don't get your CPA within a certain time frame, I mean, not necessarily let you go, but you won't be up for promotions and, management and stuff. So he decided to go to somewhere else where the CPA wasn't as heavily dependent upon. So
Man, that's a lot of pressure.
yeah, it is. So honestly, I think it's depending on the firm, because a lot of those big 4s, honestly, they want you to have the CPA coming in,
Oh,
or
really?
at least be passing and taking the CPA exam when you get hired. So
Gotcha. And then I heard you hear that you work a ton of hours.
yeah. So, in the midst of COVID, since we're working from home, I've actually, I'm sorry, for big 4 accounting firms, you do work a lot of hours, yes, because there's busy season, you have, clients for auditing, taxi, so it's a lot. But so I feel like if you're prepared to work 40 to 50 plus hours a week, do it. I mean, I feel like honestly, I feel like if you don't have a family and you're still single, go for the big 4.
Gotcha.
Run yourself dry.
Okay. Oh, so how's the work-life balance where you currently working for you?
So for me, honestly, I love it so much because I literally work my standard 40 hours. The only time I may work overtime is when we have month-end close.
Mm-hmm.
And even then I might work like 45 hours. So it's really not even that much of a difference. And we're working from home, so it's not, not that big of a deal, but my hours are very steady. It's very flexible because say for example, if I may have an appointment or, I may have to do something in the morning, my manager's always like, come in when you can, stay a little later. There isn't really, making up time because I'm salaried. So the hours are definitely flexible. I could come in at 8 and work to 5. I could come in at 6 and work to 3:30, just whatever is comfortable for me. So
Oh, that's good to have that flexibility because you're definitely
yeah.
going to need it as you start
Yeah.
studying.
Yeah. I'm not gonna come in at 6 because that's way too early, but maybe like 6:30, something like that.
Well, that's good to have that flexibility with your managers or employer.
Yeah.
If you need to take a long lunch, or if you do decide you want to study early in the morning and then start work a little later, you have that
Yeah.
option because you're going to need it because you may stay up really late burning the midnight oil the night
Right.
before and need to sleep a little later. So you might start working 9 versus 8. So that's
Exactly.
have that flexibility, and then I have to commute too. So definitely take advantage of
Yeah.
the current situation, being able to work remotely now. So, because you're gonna need
Yep.
all the extra time you can get. But
Right.
at the name of your company, if you don't mind sharing again, do you think there's an opportunity for advancement as soon as you obtain your CPA designation? Do you think you'll be promoted?
So at MU Core, although they do, I mean, with MU Core, because they're not necessarily a CPA firm, so they definitely hold the CPA to a high value, but it's not necessarily needed to do your job. So I feel like once I get my CPA, there's potential rooms for promotion, but I don't think it may not be right off the bat. So it
Oh,
just kind of depends. Yeah. So I may end up probably having to leave to be able to get the promotion that I want. So
right. The salary that you want, you think may not
I think maybe the salary would probably increase, but
necessarily.
promotions it may be limited. But salary, I think for sure, yes. But
So,
promotions definitely limited. Yeah.
is your manager aware that you're on the CPA journey, or the people on your team? Do
Yes,
they?
they are actually, because my manager is a CPA. So she's definitely one that's been encouraging me in the process. But I never asked about the promotion part of it. So I'd rather wait until I have, so I pass the CPA exam, and then we can talk more about those kinds of things.
Gotcha. Okay, you just going to wait for a little bit, but they
Yeah.
are aware. Have they asked you questions? Because sometimes that can be added pressure the more you share it with people, especially co.
Um, they'll ask me, how's it going with studying? Have you sat for any exams yet? Stuff like that. So, but they're definitely very encouraging. Very encouraging.
So currently in your position, do you think where you are currently, is it in line with your education? Is your compensation in line with the experience and education you already have? With industry standards?
So yes, I think it is, because I don't have a lot of experience in accounting.
Mhm.
So honestly, they really took a chance on me when they hired me, because I told them I was like, I only have accounts payable experience, but I was able to expound on it and kind of make it applicable to this staff accounting position. So I definitely think it aligns with my experience, my education, and all of that, because they've been able to train me, and I've been doing a great job so far. So, and they've said that before, and they actually put me on special projects that sometimes we have internal auditors that may ask for a report or need certain things, so they'll put me on special projects like that for the firm to help. So I've helped on the external auditing projects, internal auditing projects, stuff for our cost accounting team. So it's been an amazing journey so far.
Well, it sounds like you're gaining a valuable experience
Yes, definitely.
that you'll be able to take with you somewhere else if you so choose to. So
Yes.
that's great, because sometimes as accountants you may be siloed, or this is all you work on. I know you mentioned
Right.
fixed assets, so that's your responsibility, and that's all you do all day long. Because a lot of
Yeah.
us are repetitive and cyclical. So that's good. You've been able to touch different aspects of accounting, and which is valuable experience. So beyond there, what are your career aspirations? What do you want to do with the CPA designation, or what position
So
vision having down the road?
yeah. So for me, once I get my CPA designation, I would love to be a forensic accountant. I definitely want to get into auditing as my kind of specialization, because as a forensic accountant, you need auditing experience to kind of push you forward. So my end goal is to be a forensic accountant, but I would love to kind of delve into the auditing industry. Maybe do revenue audits, financial statement audit, because I love everything finance. So I can do like maybe financial statement audits, revenue auditing, maybe get into tax audits, things like that, and then be able to kind of progress into the forensic accounting industry. So
Okay.
that's my goal.
Well, follow up to that. I know you've probably been in school for like forever, or you've gotten enough education. But
Yeah.
beyond the CPA exam, do you feel like you would be looking to get those credentials related to being a forensic accountant?
Yes, because as a forensic accountant, you definitely need the CFE, which is, of course, the fraud examiner certification. And then the CFF, which is the financial forensics and fraud, I believe. So I definitely would be interested in getting those designated. But they said, when I was looking it up, it's not necessarily needed, but the main thing you need is a CPA. But I mean, it would be great to have those other ones as well. So I'm definitely gonna, CPA, that's just a check mark. I got other certifications that I definitely want to pursue.
Those on the horizon too. Just never stop learning, right?
And I heard the exams are a lot easier than the CPA. That's what I've heard. So
that's what I've heard too. And you probably come across this in talking to other people or just on Google and just surfing the net. There's been some studies that say the certified public accountant exam is the most difficult credentialed exam in the world, on top above what the medical boards for being a doctor or passing the bar exam for being a lawyer. So depending on who you ask, if you can pass the CPA exam, you can be anything. You can pass any other exam and go into any other profession if you can do this CPA. Right. So the other ones will be a breeze.
Yeah. And when I tell you, when I pass that CPA exam, I'm just gonna throw my hands up and take a vacation for like 30 days. I'm gonna go somewhere in the country to just unwind, because that'll be the most amazing feeling, and I'm so excited to be able to get there. So,
gosh, okay. So, who along the way has guided you, and who exposed you to the accounting profession, where you chose accounting for your major in undergrad? How did that come about?
So for me, I was actually in a program called ACAP, which stands for Accounting Career Awareness Program. I don't know if you've heard of it already, but it's based out of Atlanta. I think they have it in other states as well. But so basically, I was in ACAP, and I was going on a senior in high school. So I was chosen because I had to write an essay and stuff like that. So I was chosen to be in ACAP. So basically, what the program is, you do a residency at Emory University, and they expose you to the accounting industry. So we got to meet accounting executives, managers, CPAs, directors of accounting. We got to tour, the world of Coke, the Coca-Cola Museum, the Coca-Cola, the actual corporate part of it. We toured Deloitte. We went to all of the big four accounting firms as well. And honestly, that program is what really pushed me to want to be an accountant, because I was like, this sounds fun. It sounds amazing. It sounds, and I think with accounting, you're not limited to just being an accountant. You can be an auditor. You can be in finance. You can be a business manager. It's so broad that you can go into any other industry that you want to, just being in accounting. So that's how I chose it to be my major in undergrad. So.
And even in undergrad, did you know CPA was the ultimate goal?
Yes, because when I was in undergrad, literally the first accounting class I took, they pushed that CPA exam. Really? And they even had CPA review courses at Benedict when I was there. Unfortunately, I didn't enroll because I had took extra auditing courses in undergraduate, so I didn't really have time for a CPA review course, but they did offer that when I was an undergraduate.
Gotcha. Okay. So during your career in school, or even in your career in the workplace, do you have a mentor, or did you at any point?
So when I was in school, I did have a mentor, and post school, I do have a mentor. He works for Point University. He started off as an accountant. He's been in accounting for like 10, 15 years. So he's definitely been my mentor. We talk about everything from my career to accounting, passing the CPA exam. So he's definitely been an encourager for me throughout this process and journey.
So you've had somebody to lean on, or?
Yes, definitely.
You pick his brain along the way.
Right.
That's good, unlike many of us. So now back to your childhood and growing up, and before you went off to college, how many CPAs did you know? Or did you even know what a CPA was, or certified public accountant, before going off to college?
Well, through the ACAP program I did, but prior to the ACAP, You said what?
Before ACAP, before your senior year. Let me put it that way. Let me rephrase the question.
So before the CPA, before the ACAP program and all of that, I honestly didn't know I knew what accounting was, but I didn't know what a CPA was. Because, I grew up around business because my mom, she's in the insurance business.
Okay.
So I feel like, I was like, my mom gets to dress nice every day for work and look professional. I want to do that. So that's what I did. So I think she was what motivated me to get into business. Seeing her do well and get to be a managing partner, stuff like that. So I didn't really know a lot of CPAs growing up. No.
Gotcha. But once you got into ACAP program, it sounds like it exposed you to the accounting profession and
Yes,
professionals.
definitely.
And in that program, can you remember back if there were Black CPAs that you came in contact with at those?
Yes, a lot. Majority of the people that we met were Black CPAs. Yes.
Oh, really? That's highly unusual. But
Because this program
too, though.
Yeah, because this program was sponsored through NABA, which is the National Association of Black Accountants. So it was sponsored through that program. So I think that is why they exposed us to Black CPAs and Black accountants.
Right, because we are underrepresented.
Yeah, definitely.
Black people or African Americans in the profession. Why do you think that is?
Because I feel like we're not exposed. I feel like as Black people, we're not exposed to it early enough.
Okay.
That's what I feel like. We need to be exposing people to CPAs in middle school, high school. Like, I feel like there's not enough programs that promote CPAs, especially in high school. I feel like maybe there should be like, an elective on just accounting or just a CPA exam. That's how I feel.
Gotcha. So it's the lack of exposure?
Yes, I feel like, in my opinion, a lack of exposure. Yes.
And the ACAP program, was that a program that's offered every year at your high school?
So where I went, actually it wasn't offered at my high school. I found out one of my mom's friends told me about ACAP, and then that's how I got into the program. It wasn't offered at my school. No.
Okay, it wasn't advertised or promoted at the high school. It's just your parents knowing other people.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Right. Exactly.
So maybe we have to do a better job of promoting the different programs.
Yeah, even having CPAs come in to high schools and talk.
Right, because the ACAP program, isn't that summer program?
Yes, that's during the summer. Yeah. Okay. But they just did, I know they go around to several schools, but they didn't come to my high school. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And also, even individuals or Black people of African descent who do start along the journey, they may not finish, or they may get discouraged along the way. Since it is a 4-part exam, they may fail, have to retake, or lose credit, because for those of you who don't know, once you pass one exam, the clock starts ticking. You have 18 months to pass the other 3. But if you don't, you lose credit and may have to retake an exam. And that can be discouraging. So what can we do to increase the pass rates?
I think maybe to increase the pass rate, it all depends kind of the CPA review program that you decide to enroll in. And then I think we need to just motivate each other more and encourage each other more. Like maybe, for example, one of my good friends, he started, a CPA review group, just stuff like that. Like, start doing that all over, start motivating, encouraging. Because honestly, with the pass rate, it is a hard exam. So I don't know, just maybe having more in-person classes to help people that failed it, having support groups to help people that failed it, because you don't want somebody to get discouraged and just be like, you know what, I'm done with it. You want to be able to encourage them, support them fully along the way.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like what you're saying, maybe 2-pronged approach, being a support system and somebody to be a cheerleader in your corner.
Yeah.
Like a cheerleader. So that group that was formed, I think that's important too. So somebody can cheer you along, or can offer some encouragement, because you can be discouraged or lose confidence if you fail an exam, or if you just feel overwhelmed. Again, it's so much material. and to know that you're in it together
Right. Yeah.
may motivate you to keep going. So that's good. But I think there's maybe once you are a CPA, where more people can come together and encourage others to keep going or even pursue
Right.
that designation. So what will
Exactly.
having CPA behind your name mean to you?
I think honestly, for me, having a CPA behind my name will mean, for me, I can represent for being Black and being a female, because I'm a double minority. So, I feel like having the CPA will open the doors for me to be able to spread positivity, whether it be, speaking to students,
Okay.
and just showing every little Black girl out there, you can do this. You can be a doctor. You can be a lawyer. You can be a CPA. Whatever avenue that you want to do, I'm here to represent and encourage other young people and other young women specifically as well, to show them that you can accomplish anything you put your mind to, anything that you have your eyes set on, you can accomplish it. And that's what having the CPA will mean for me. Because I feel like I don't just want the credentials. I want to be able to do the work behind it as well.
Yeah.
So,
So you're not
and
gonna.
I want to encourage other people to be CPAs as well. I want to be like, hey, you don't got your CPA? Come on, let's go get it together. Stuff like that.
Okay, so you think you're gonna be involved in the profession?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Be giving back to some degree
Yes, of course.
after the celebration, right?
Yeah, after the celebration. So give me about 30 days and then I'll get on it.
Jump into it. All right. Well, I briefly mentioned COVID-19 and the pandemic, but specifically now that people are working remotely, a lot of things are done virtually, even with the review programs. Seems like a lot of people are going to be on their own, especially with a lot of the in-person, face-to-face classes canceled now.
Right.
How do you think the pandemic will impact your mindset and other CPA candidates going forward?
So with this COVID pandemic, first, I feel like, because I was wondering, how are they doing the testing exams? Like, are they still testing in person? Will they have a limited people in the testing area? Things like that. Um, and I feel like maybe with COVID, it may slow down the testing process as well, potentially, because I think honestly what they're doing is you have to have limited people in an area, so you have to be 6 feet apart. So they can't because usually they can just let everybody in at once for the testing. But I think because they have to limit it, it may prolong people taking their exam. So I feel like maybe NASBA and whoever runs the rules and regulations should say, hey, there is no time limit to passing, because since this process may be prolonged because of COVID, why not it may be extended to say you have 24 months to pass, or whatever. So
What's your mindset? Are you thinking, is that again another reason and motivation to pass it the first
yes,
time?
definitely. Yes, that is a motivation, because this process may take longer than I thought. I definitely just need to get on it and pass those parts of the exam.
Because of scheduling.
Yes, because of scheduling.
Okay, the testing centers may not have the availability that they once did.
Right. Yeah.
It.
Exactly.
That's something else to consider, which I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
Which can be discouraging or motivating, depending on how you look at it. It's all your
I
mind.
see it as a motivator. I see it as like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and register for the exam as soon as possible. I'm going to get on it. I'm going to do what I got to do.
Gotcha. Well, anything else you'd like to share, thoughts or advice?
So I saw one of the questions that you sent was with the systematic race issues going on in America, how is that affecting my journey of being a CPA? So I definitely want to address that real quick before we but so I feel like with the race issues and this in the riots and the protests and Black people yet still being killed by cops, I feel like for me, as a Black person, being in business, being in accounting, wanting to pursue my CPA, I feel like I need to use my position and power to help other people that may need help. And I feel like in my journey, say for example, if I do get to be a manager, I want to hire people that look like me too, because white people hire people that look like them. why can't Black people hire people that look like? And I feel like we always get scolded and stoned for it because, oh, you're only hiring Black. No, I'm hiring talent. I'm hiring because you want to be able to push for Black people being in business and give them a chance. And a lot of these firms are not giving them a chance. A lot of these firms are only recruiting at, the UGAs and the Georgia States and the Georgia, which is fine, but why aren't you recruiting the HBCUs? There's a lot of talent that comes from HBCUs. And I feel like within this journey, this is giving me even more motivation to say, as a CPA, what can I do to be able to promote Black excellence and empower other young Black men and women as well? So,
oh, that's fantastic. To try to bridge the gap and increase our representation within the profession. Yes. That's awesome. Great. And do you think with that mindset or that initiative, do you think you would have the support in your current company? Who knows where the future will take you, but do you see that being modeled?
Probably not, because my job, it's majority white, so I may not have that backbone and that support. But yeah, so that's kind of how I feel. I feel like, it may not be as supported with my current position.
Well, what are your peers saying that are working in other places?
They're saying that with my peers, a lot of my peers work with the Big Four. Okay. And a lot of them are saying that their jobs and companies have spoken out about the systematic race issues and what's going on in America. And they're trying to push for more diversity and inclusion. So they've actually hired diversity and inclusion officers that help bridge that gap in the accounting profession as well. And that's what we need. That's what we need, diversity and inclusion. But I feel like as a company, when you say diversity and inclusion, actually mean it. Don't just say the words for good press or for the media or for news. When you say diversity and inclusion, actually mean it and do what you're saying as well.
Put some action behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Alrighty, cool. Oh, anything else besides that, or words you want to leave with, or any of us that watch the
video? I guess I'll leave whoever's watching with these couple of comments. I just want to say that, being Black in America is already hard enough, but I feel like being Black in America doesn't have to be hard. Being Black in America can be seen as empowering. It can be seen as, motivation to achieve your goals. And I feel like if you're a young person or a student or, or a professional watching, know that you can get your CPA. It may seem like it's going to be hard, but don't count it out. Sometimes CPA is associated with negative connotations as far as passing the exam, but just know that you can do anything you put your mind to. Anything you put your mind to. So you got this.
So true. Thank you for encouraging us. And thank you, Ms. Moore, for taking time out of your day to be.
Welcome, no problem. You're so welcome.
So that concludes this interview. However, before we disconnect, I would like to say, remember who you are and whose you are, and there's no time like the present. Thank you again.